And why that is because their maturity in faith and their age in vocabulary growth went from cursing to praise. And their relationship with Jesus Christ became stronger, which then influenced the way that they viewed things in life. And as they talk about it, it moves from cursing to praise. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times when correction is needed, right? And it is a Christian thing to do, to have frank conversations. They need to be correctional, not judgmental. And we need to make sure that our words are used for praise and not curse in those situations. And that we need to make sure that the maturity and faith of the one we're talking about is if it's not equal to our own, that we use words that make sense. And a good rule of thumb or a good measuring stick is from Scripture that we're all familiar with if you've ever been to a wedding. When we talk about love, right? It's patient. It's kind. It's not envious or boastful or proud. It doesn't celebrate another's misery. Speaking love cannot get you into a bad place. So, yeah, sometimes we do have to speak correction, but it's not curse. We're coming from a place of love. So with those kind of things said, let me get to why I have the title I do, which is Say Your Way Ahead. Over the last year and a half, I've been traveling our presbytery and I've been to many churches. And I've been talking about the pandemic and what churches are doing and hearing what people feel and what they think and seeing how different churches do worship and how they participate in a community, a Christian community. And it's a tough time. I've actually given quite a few interviews and I've written several articles on the topic. Here's what I'll say. If the pandemic taught us anything about church, is that it doesn't have to be complicated for people to love one another. One of the things that has happened in our church as we've developed and grown over the years is, in a sense, we've started developing a bunch of rules and programs and things that just kind of we do because that's what we do. And when we couldn't do that anymore, we found out that the key to all of this was making sure that someone knew that they were loved and cared for. And if we could be a part of that, we were going to do that. How simple. Yet, how removed from where we were. A friend of mine, who's also a Presbyterian minister and a seminary professor, Todd Bolzinger, wrote a book called Canoeing the Mountain. And a lot of church leaders have read this book and have worked through what some of it means. If you're not familiar, let me just give you a quick synopsis. It is about the challenges of a modern church as it parallels the story of the Lewis and Clark expedition. See, Lewis and Clark and their team of discovery were experts in traversing terrain and canoeing. They were explorers of what we call the Smoky Mountains. That was the fringes of the United States at the time. They were prepared, at least they thought, to travel from the East Coast to the Pacific Ocean. And all the experts assumed that when you kind of got out there, which they weren't really sure where there was, you would just kind of have to follow the river and eventually you'd get to the Pacific Ocean.